What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, around the NFL community, Finns fans, any other fans that are out there? This is my way too early 2021 mock draft. Now, I want to make this very clear from the get-go. This is way too early, but I'm bored and I did a ton of work on this video. So before this even starts, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe. Help me get to 100 subscribers. I greatly appreciate it. Now, another thing I want to get off the bat is that these are the Vegas odds for the best teams in the NFL. So it's going to go down a list from worst to best. So it's not going to be like saying like the Super Bowl winners or anything like that, because 31 and 32 are in the same conference. So this is how it is right now, and this is how it's going to go. The draft board's going to be. Until the season really even starts, or I'd have to do my whole own schedule prediction and do it all. But if you guys do want that, and this video does do well, get likes, and you guys show in the comments that you want that, I will do that for y'all. Just because I love making videos for you guys. So we're gonna start off this mock draft. I think everyone knows the first overall pick by now. If you don't know, you've been sleeping under a rock. You haven't been watching college football, and that's gonna be Trevor Lawrence from Clemson. Now, Trevor Lawrence has been one of the best prospects to come out since Andrew Luck. I think this guy is going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL to ever play. I completely love this quarterback. This guy, I've been seeing him since his Elite 11 days, just looking like a pro already. Like, you wish this guy could have been a one and done in college, and he would have been the first overall pick if the one and dones were happening. So this year could be kind of a down year for Trevor Lawrence, especially it could be bad with this whole COVID-19 going on. It could completely screw up his season, especially with his top wide receivers not being there anymore, especially with the loss of Ross not going to be there this season potentially because it's an injury where he had to get surgery. So this could be kind of a down year for Trevor Lawrence, and that's not good at all for him. And there is questions right now that he could potentially sit out this season and just prepare for the NFL draft. Now, moving on to the next pick, we could say that SEWELL, if I'm saying that correctly, I could be butchering a bunch of these names. This guy could be the number one prospect in the draft coming out underneath the quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Now, if the Redskins are in this position, would the Redskins say, all right, we're done with Dwayne Haskins, if maybe he got injured during the year? You really don't know. There's a lot of ifs and buts about this NFL season, but we're going to go off this that the season does happen, and also the college season happens. SEWELL is the best tackle coming out. He could have been the best tackle last year coming out. There's no question about it. This guy's a pure left tackle. He could possibly play right tackle for you, but this is a guy that's going to help fill that gap from your old left tackle, Trent Williams. I was almost going to a blink there, but Trent Williams, you got rid of him. You sent him to the 49ers, and now you can have your new starting left tackle who's going to be young, and you can have him for maybe the next 10 years to be your starting left tackle. Going on to the next, if the Bengals are at number 3 here, I can see at this point AJ Green quitting on Cincinnati and saying, you know what, screw this. I don't care about the franchise tag or nothing. I'm out. So why not go get your next franchise wide receiver with your franchise quarterback already, where that connection was just amazing, in Jamar Chase, wide receiver out of LSU. This guy is an absolute beast. He would have been one of maybe the top 2 best wide receivers in last year's class if he was able to go. So this guy, it would be a perfect pairing for Cincinnati to have their quarterback and their number 1 wide receiver down, especially if AJ Green does decide to leave town. Going on to the next pick, this guy could be arguably, could completely butcher that. Arguably, oh my God, I'm terrible at speaking right now. he could be the number one quarterback in this draft class this year. He going up against Trevor Lawrence. There's so many talks about he should have made it to the national championship over Trevor Lawrence and the Ohio State Buckeyes versus Clemson, with kind of a decision by the refs that kind of screwed over that game. So Justin Fields completely went off last season. If he has another perfect season, you can make a case for him going number one overall in this draft class. But I have him going to Carolina to be a backup behind Teddy Bridgewater for another year, and then you start maybe Justin Fields. But I feel like Justin Fields is going to be a situation where he does start really soon, which could be kind of bad for him, but I really do see that happening. He's a great quarterback transferring from Georgia. Georgia got screwed out of that play with Justin Fields, but him at Ohio State, there's a lot of quarterbacks that come out of there and they look really good. They just normally don't work out. But Justin Fields is going to be a top 5 pick in this NFL draft this year. Arguably could go number one. Oh, I finally got the word down. So at number 5, I have the New York Jets selecting a defensive end. This is one of their biggest needs. Gregory Rousseau out of Miami. This is a guy that I did not want going this high for my Dolphins later in this draft, but he's going to end up being a top 5 pick. This guy's going to be amazing for the Jets. Sadly, his talents are going to be wasted going to the Jets. But adding to that defense for Adam Gase, which I think he's going to start understanding soon, or he might be out. I don't think they would fire him after this year. I think they would just give him another year possibly, and I think he'd go with the defensive end. Just improve that defense to match up with that offense that could compete in this AFC East that is up for grabs, potentially. At number 6, Micah Parsons, linebacker out of Penn State, goes to the New York Football Giants. The Giants, they went with their tackle at number 4 last year, and they didn't go Isaiah Simmons, which I thought they were going to do. I thought they were going to go ahead and go that route, get your defense stacked up, but they didn't, and I don't think they're gonna make that mistake again and go with the best linebacker in the draft, Micah Parsons, a pure linebacker that Penn State was known a while back that they produced NFL level linebackers. So I can completely see the Giants not making a mistake again, which maybe it wasn't a mistake. Maybe they found their franchise tackle. But still, you need to improve that defense up a lot more than it already is. And I have them going Micah Parsons here. With a number 7th overall pick, if the Lions are in this position again, then they cannot stick with Matthew Stafford anymore. I think you got to go with the Madden quarterback, Trey Lance, or NCAA quarterback. He's a video game quarterback. He is like as good as Kyler Murray was in college. He's a double threat quarterback. He can throw the ball. He throws it like Kyler Murray, and he can run just like Kyler Murray also. So I can see the Lions going with a completely new coaching staff. They're going to start all over again and go get their next franchise quarterback, or try their next franchise quarterback at number 7. And I think they would go and get a younger-minded offensive coordinator as their next coach, because defense obviously didn't work out. So I could see him going with an offensive coordinator for the job, maybe even a college offensive coordinator or head coach, just so they can kind of go the Lamar Jackson route almost. I could totally see that happening. On the number 8th pick, everyone's been saying Tua was helped so much in college by his wide receivers, and that's the only reason why he's good. Well, if you want to go that route, then let's draft a wide receiver from Alabama to make the plays for him. And Devontae Smith, who caught the national championship winning touchdown for Tua when he first came into the game as a freshman to win the national championship against Georgia in Atlanta. So you get another downhill threat wide receiver that can also play slot. You got the Dolphins having Albert Wilson that could potentially be leaving after this year. Jakeem Grant could also be out if he doesn't perform this year. So you could have Devontae Parker, Devontae Smith, and then Preston Williams. That would be one hell of a receiving threat for this Miami Dolphins team. And then next, you get Tua's offensive tackle that could have been the best offensive tackle on the board in last year's draft. There's so many guys that and there's even more later in this draft with people that didn't come out last year. The Dolphins have back-to-back picks here, and why not go ahead and get your other offensive tackle to start on the other side of Austin Jackson to protect Tua and build that complete that wall almost for Tua, especially with a guy from Alabama that did block for him, and Tua would be very comfortable with. I think the Dolphins are going to be building around Tua and doing everything possible to make him feel comfortable, which is the right way to do it. You want to build your team around your quarterback, and make sure that he is feeling comfortable and he has a team around him that he's able to perform at the highest level possible. Now with the 10th pick, you got to go with the best offensive tackle available for Denver. Samuel COSMI, the offensive tackle out of Texas. This guy can play anywhere on the offensive line. This guy's an absolute beast. I think he needs to put on a little bit more weight. I think he needs to get a little quicker. Needs to get to the NFL level a little bit faster. But for Denver, it's going to be a good pickup to protect Drew Lock and continue making holes for the run game and just giving Drew Lock a bunch of time. Because if Drew Lock has a bunch of time, he's going to be a very good quarterback. I said Drew Lock and Denver Broncos are going to be a team to watch out for this year. I completely see that happening. Drew Lock going into second year, almost having a jump. Maybe not Patrick Mahomes type jump, but a very good season. Now, number 11, if the Falcons are in this position, they're going to fire their whole coaching staff. They're going to get rid of Matt Ryan. Julio Jones might be his way out the door. And I think they go local and go get Jamie Newman, the quarterback transfer, senior transfer from Wake Forest, who could have one of the best seasons we've ever seen in college football with the Georgia Bulldogs. I can see that happening. Almost like a Joe Burrow type season with them. He was very good at Wake Forest, but he wanted to get out of there. But he does have to compete with JT Daniels for that quarterback spot. But if this guy is available and he's starting for Georgia, then this guy's gonna be a top 15 draft pick in this coming year's draft. So Georgia and go to the Atlanta Falcons, it almost seems like a perfect fit for the Falcons when they're going through this rebrand for them. They're gonna have to fire the whole coaching staff and completely change the roster. I think lots of people, it's a copycat league, and I'll go ahead and say the Dolphins are the team that teams are looking at, saying, all right, these guys got a bunch of draft capital. They're looking on the up. They had a bunch of money to spread on free agency just to suck for 1 year and not even really even look like you're tanking. So it's a copycat league, and a bunch of teams are going to start doing this. They're like, well, we don't want to just be mediocre all the time. Let's go blow something up and, build it up the right way. Because the Dolphins are showing us that way, which other teams are doing. And I think Jacksonville's doing the exact same thing, but they're just not as good at it because they're doing terrible trades for their players when the Dolphins are getting second and first round picks for their players. So for the next pick, number 12, Creed Humphrey could possibly be a top 10 NFL draft pick. I see him slipping to Arizona here to protect Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray would feel super comfortable playing behind Creed Humphrey, especially with them playing together at Oklahoma. Once again, Creed Humphrey last year looked absolutely amazing, continuing his being one of the best inside offensive linemen, maybe the best center in college football, which this would be a dream scenario for Kyler Murray to play behind. So I have him going number 12 to the Arizona Cardinals. At number 13, the Bears. It's kind of too late to end up getting your quarterback here. I think Trubisky's going to be out. They may reach for a quarterback here, but I just see him going, stacking up the offensive line and starting to prepare to get their quarterback in the next year's draft. Which, you know, we don't completely know what's going to be coming down the road, but I don't see them reaching for a quarterback here. It could be possible that they do reach, or they could end up trading up into the draft, because, you know, they're known for going up one spot for Trubisky and wasting so much draft capital for it. They could end up, if Jacksonville doesn't feel good about, like, just pushing Gardner Minshew to the side. Let's say Gardner Minshew has an amazing year with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Why not? Why not trade that pick away for a bunch of draft capital? They know Chicago from number 13 to number 1. Holy crap, that would be a ton of capital. Almost said capital. But that could be a scenario that I could see happening in this draft class. Number 14, a guy that could have been a top 10 pick last year from my Florida State Seminoles, Marvin Wilson, defensive tackle, going to the Las Vegas Raiders at number 14. This guy is an absolute beast in the run game and the pass game. He'll get to the quarterback, he'll get back and stop that run game. He is the best defensive tackle coming out of this class. He could be one of the best defensive players in this draft. He could be a top 5 player in this draft. Could have been a top 10 player in last year's draft. What an absolute beast. Las Vegas kind of gets a steal here at number 14 overall, when he could have very possibly been in the top 10, top 7 picks. So that's just an amazing pick for Las Vegas. Now I have Cleveland, or Vegas odds has Cleveland at number 15, which means they had an 8-8 season, which is not good for them at the level they're on. And they're going to pick an inside offensive lineman, Wyatt Davis, out of Ohio State. Ohio State has a very good offensive line. Sometimes they don't always go to the next level, but that's okay. Cleveland can continue building the offensive line to build around Baker Mayfield, to give him more time. Lord knows that they need more offensive tackles, but offensive tackles were kind of gone by here. By number 15 too, shows how that the best player is going to go really early in this draft class. It's not a completely low draft class, but it is a good draft class. But I have Wyatt Davis going here, inside offensive lineman from Ohio State, to kind of stay around the area. So at number 16, Tennessee didn't go as well as they would have hoped for the season, getting Aiden Hutchinson, defensive end out of Michigan. They are obviously in the race to get Jadeveon Clowney, and obviously putting up some money for him, and that means that they're looking for a defensive end. So in this year's draft, your best player available is Aiden Hutchinson, and this is a guy that's very power rusher. He's quick too. He'll get back into that backfield and sack the quarterback. This is a guy that could do very well in Mike Vrabel's defense. So I have him going here at number 16. Number 17, Jacksonville gets their answers prayed for JEVON Holland falling to number 17, the safety from Oregon. This guy could be a top 10 pick, very possibly top 8. He's just that good of a player. Miami could have went this route since they don't have the best safeties around, which could have possibly. And if you guys are hating the pick so far, it's my first very early mock draft. I could totally see the Dolphins going with this. They're the really only team that I could see snagging him, to be honest with you. At number 8 or 9, they could possibly, other than going Devonta Smith, they could go JEVON Holland at number 8. And get their safety and then their tackle at number 9. But Jacksonville gets their starting safety A very good safety out of Oregon, especially with the lower price amount of money they would have had to pay him on his rookie contract. So that works out very well for them. The rebuild's going good so far. Christian Barmore. I'm sorry if I butchered the name, but the Vikings need to get that defensive line back up young, and the Vikings could very well go to the playoffs this year. Being on number 18 means they didn't make the playoffs. They were just out of it. So this could be an 8-8, 9-7 season. Go with 9-7. And they'll make missing the playoffs. And that just means you need to add more pieces to your defense. Defense is going to win championships. They're going to get you to win those games. And I think getting Christian Barmore out of Alabama, Alabama produces NFL talent. If you want to get your best defensive players, I go the Alabama route every single time over than any other school. If I'm going to put my job on the line, I'm always going to pick an Alabama player over anybody. But yeah, this defensive lineman, he's very good. He needs to put up more numbers in this season with Alabama, which it's going to happen. He's going to do very well. Saying that he's not going to injure, knock on wood. God forbid that happens for him, because he's a very good player and he's going to be a top 20 pick in this draft. Number 19, you get one of the best corners, maybe the best corner in this draft, Shaun Wade at number 19 to the Los Angeles Chargers. Apparently it worked with Justin Herbert being on 19th overall. You improve that defense, that backfield with Derwin James, and Shaun Wade will be the perfect solution here, just to keep stacking up that defense, and especially if they're just outside the playoff hunt. Then that means that they just need some more defensive pieces. They could totally go a wide receiver here. I could totally see that happening, but right now I'm going with Shaun Wade. At number 20, I'm going to get a surprising pick here. Kyle Pitts, the best tight ends in this draft class, going to the Steelers. This guy's very good tight end for Florida. They don't produce a lot of good tight ends. I don't see many tight ends from them go to the NFL level. Well, maybe a couple, but we don't always mention them. But this Steelers team, if you're at this point, you don't pick a quarterback. Especially if you're at number 20, that means you might have made the playoffs. You may have been just out. Maybe could have gone 9-7, 8-8 again, as I said before with these other teams. But adding that offensive piece, they get off. I know they picked up Eric Ebron, but getting a young tight end to get in there would be very helpful for this team. At number 21, this is my favorite defensive player in this draft. Patrick Surtain, the second corner from Alabama, is going to go to the Colts. The Colts here probably made the playoffs with Phillip Rivers, which means they don't have to go a quarterback here. They probably keep Phillip Rivers around for another year or maybe two. It matters how long he wants to play. But making the playoffs with him, it's going to be very good for him. Phillip Rivers likes that. So getting your defense, that defense is going to get built up in Indianapolis. The offense is already ready to roll. I could see him going to wide receiver here if they didn't. But I do have the next wide receiver coming off of the board here. Jalen Waddle at number 22 to the New England Patriots. They're not going to reach on a quarterback at this point. If they make it to 22, let's get a moment of silence for that. 22, Vegas. Are you kidding me? That's making the playoffs with Brian Hoyer and Jarrett Stidham. No disrespect to Bill Belichick, but come on, man. They're not making the playoffs with that team. I don't care what way you put it. They're gonna be in position to get a quarterback in this year's draft. But at this point, you pick a wide receiver here at number 22, one of the best wide receivers in this class, and Jalen Waddle, falling to the New England Patriots to maybe build up that squad for your next quarterback coming in the next year's draft class, or maybe even getting a free agent quarterback. Now at number 23, the Buffalo Bills improved that defense in the linebacker position. Maybe they don't completely need it, but Dylan Moses, the second best linebacker, you can make a case that he's the best linebacker in this class. What an amazing linebacker. He could go anywhere on this defense for the Bills. It only makes the Bills better, especially with them being a playoff team. Dylan Moses almost seems like a Bills player. He's if I could say, other than Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, this is like a pick I feel really good about him going here. Just one of my spots that I feel like Dylan Moses is just gonna end up on the Bills. I can almost feel, I don't know, do you guys feel that too? Like, you feel like Dylan Moses is gonna be a Buffalo Bill? He almost seems like a Buffalo Bill player to me. He's a perfect defensive linebacker. There's a couple teams that could have snagged him, but this is definitely a guy that could fall in this draft to late first round. At number 24, the Green Bay Packers. You're finally gonna get some offensive help. Finally, once Aaron Rodgers is gonna be run out of town, and you got Jordan Love now. Let's go get him. Rondale Moore, wide receiver out of Purdue, downhill, deep threat. Let's finally gonna get some pieces. I've never really hated the Packers franchise, but now I do. You know, they screwed over Aaron Rodgers, and now they finally want to go get. I know I'm making the picks for them, but I feel like they're just gonna end up getting pieces. They're gonna finally end up and go get some pieces for their next quarterback instead of helping their Hall of Fame quarterback that's already in the building. I just don't like the Packers anymore. At number 25, Brandon Brooks just tore his Achilles, so I could see them going inside offensive lineman at this pick, getting Trey Smith, inside offensive lineman out of Tennessee. He could play anywhere on this offensive line for them. He could play tackle, he could play inside, any spot except probably center. He's gonna be a guy that's gonna be very versatile for any team that picks him. All these offensive linemen just need to get prepared for the NFL speed. This guy is a little slow off the line, but that can be very well fixed, especially being on number 25 pick. Number 26, Seattle's a little weird with their picks, but I think they go the best flashy player available. That would be Travis Etienne. Probably the best running back on my board, coming off here at the number 26 spot. It seems like a perfect position for Seattle to go get that youngsters in that backfield. I don't have them going defense here. I don't think any like really good defensive players were left. So I have them just going a flashy player, or they can end up trading out of this position. Now here, apparently Buccaneers worked out pretty well because Las Vegas just loves their Tom Brady. Easy to bet on. Carlos Basham Jr. What a beast from Wake Forest to add to that defensive line for the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are going to have to end up going young on that defensive line. It's not that good right now, but adding a piece like Basham is going to do really well with them, especially that their defense is already good. They just need to get to that next level, and I think having an elite pass rusher is going to be great for them here at this pick. Now, this is a guy right here, another man out of Florida State. He is the next Derwin James of this draft, and the Cowboys are going to end up with him at number 28. Another Vegas odd that just doesn't make sense. 28 overall, HAMSAH NASIRILDEEN. Hopefully I said that right because he is a player on Florida State. This is a guy that I think he's kind of going to have a down year, which is why he's not going to be as high as a pick. But he is the Derwin James of this draft, especially, coming out of Florida State. DBU, as I call it. It's not really, but, we like to say that. This guy is, I'll say it again. I'll say it as many times as you want me to. He is the next Derwin James of this draft, and that's all I have to say. That's all I have to say for him. Very versatile. Going to be perfect on whatever defense you put him in. He'll just immediately put him in. He could be a starter week 1 as a rookie. Now, number 29, the Saints are going to end up going a wide receiver here. It shows here that they're probably on a Super Bowl run, and they're going to add some more offensive pieces for Drew Brees, or maybe even Jameis Winston to take over, and you get Rashod Bateman out of Minnesota. This is a quick guy. Could end up being a slot guy in the NFL, but he's kind of tall. End up being a deep threat. But this could be a good guy for this draft class for the Saints. And they're just going to go offense here. Number 30, the San Francisco 49ers. I completely hate this team. I despise the 49ers. But I guess that doesn't matter. I know 49ers fans are going to hate on this video. But Eric Stokes, cornerback out of Georgia. You have Richard Sherman getting older. You know, you're going to end up needing more defensive help. And, you know, Richard Sherman's contract, I think, is up after this year or next year. And you're going to end up needing a young guy in there. And I think Eric Stokes is the perfect guy to just fit right in there. Like nothing ever happened. Put up like kind of the same performances as Richard Sherman would. Just be a lockdown kind of guy. You're not going to get much yards. When he sometimes will, you can pass the ball on him, but you're not going to go that far on him. He's not going to miss many tackles. If I believe so. If I'm wrong about a lot of these prospects, there's way more film I have to watch on them. And I'm going to keep doing film. This is an way too early mock draft. Just remember this is way too early. But, you know, I need to put out a video. So, 31st overall, I have Pat Freiermuth, tight end out of Penn State. This is another MICAH Sickie for you. This is a guy that's not the best at blocking, but he's a downhill threat for you. He's fast, and having those 3 tight end sets for Baltimore is one of their favorite things to do. And why not get a MICAH Sickie kind of guy for Baltimore? Be a big threat for them. I know they have like 3 tight ends already, but I could see him letting go of one of them just to get this guy at 31st overall. Now last, the Vegas odds for the Super Bowl winners. JAYLEN TWYMAN, defensive tackle out of Pittsburgh. One reason I could see this pick happen is because Chris Jones is probably going to walk after this year, and they're going to end up just needing to slip in another defensive tackle. And why not go a defensive tackle 32nd overall? Vegas has them doing a repeat Super Bowl run. If they're back-to-back Super Bowl champions, Patrick Mahomes' contract, you're not going to be able to pay anyone else on that team. I can promise you that. And that's why Chris Jones is going to walk. They do got Poe on that team, but you get a young defensive tackle on there, and it's going to work out perfectly for this team. So if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help me out. Make sure to help me get to 100 subscribers. I put a lot of work in this video. You can see I had to search all these players up, do some film work. I had to do all the slides for the picks, which that's a lot of work to do. So I'm really starting to see how much work these guys do put into their YouTube videos, and I did put a lot into this. So if you guys could, make sure to like, subscribe, comment. I love talking to you guys in the comments. I enjoy it, each and every single one of you. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks, guys.